This is a demo of our sorting room application. For the Indigenous Digital Archive project, the source material is on microfilm reels, often containing well over 1,000 images each. And these have been digitized and delivered to us, but that's as far as it goes in terms of sorting them out into archival units. A microfilm reel of 1,000 or 1,500 images is far too coarse-grained to use as an archival unit in the finished site. So the individual letters and documents and reports and photograph sets and other archival units within the material need to be isolated and turned into IIIF manifests in their own right. So what we do is we start with one IIIF manifest for each microfilm roll. These are then loaded into the sorting room application, and the user visually identifies material and turns it into new IIIF manifests. So let's demonstrate how this works. The interface here has been customized to work with the IDA material. There's some help text about how to select, and we have our list of 136 reels already kind of pre-configured. If we can browse the list here, we can see the sets available to us, and we can look at the completion of the various sets. If we go and load one of the sets up, the sorting room application loads in that 1,000 odd, in this case 1,136 image microfilm reel, and we can see here that there are a lot of images to sort through. But we can begin to make a start by identifying visually individual archival units that we want to turn into manifests in their own right. So we can use the thumbnail picker to set the size of the thumbnails to make it easier to see small or large ones, so we can have a better overview or zoom in and have a clearer view. We can open the items up and zoom in on them so that we can see them in greater detail, and if we need to go straight to a kind of deep zoom interface, we can do that as well. So we can, at any time, we can check up on exactly what the item is. But really, it's using the fact that we have this visual overview in terms of thumbnails to give us a good picture of the material, and be able to page through it really quickly just to get a clue visually for where one document starts and another one ends. So we can identify here that this is probably the start of the finding aid, and this is probably the end, or maybe this document is the end. Let's say it's that one. So we can say, okay, let's make a selection. So I've selected those, and I'm going to turn that into a manifest. Let's call this manifest finding aid rather than the default. Save that. That gets persisted. We can see what we've just saved. Let's go back and start another one. Those items that I've just picked are no longer there. I'm just going to choose some at random rather than go into fine detail here, but let's assume that this is one item. Let's make an item here. I'm just going to make an item and save it. So now I've made another set. Go back and have a look at the material. This looks like a letter, say, here. Let's go and turn that into an item. Save that. And you can see as I'm working through the material, I'm building up sets. So far from this reel, this master manifest, I've made 3 sets. One of 4 images, one of 12 images, one of 10 images. And now these are self-contained, independent IIIF manifests that I can just open in any viewer. Here at the Universal Viewer, I'm using to load in those created manifests. And this is a manifest in its own right, standalone, can work in any IIIF compatible tool. But I'm creating them from scratch by editing and cutting them out of this master manifest. And I can go back and make some more. Let's just, again, just at random pick some here. Save that. Go back. Zoom in. Click through. Look at the material. I think I need to look at that in more detail. Zoom in. Double check what I'm looking at. I can add to the selection while I'm in this view and build it up as I'm clicking through. or I can do it from the master view. At any time I can just double check what I'm looking at. So rather than a kind of viewing application, this is a selection application, and it has some of the elements of a viewer, but it's also really for fast appraisal and sorting of a large set of documents. I'm just going to save this one as well, and then commit that. Now if I go and look at the sets here, I can see that I'm gradually building up sets of material, and I can edit these if necessary. If I think a letter is probably not a very good archival description, so I can just edit that. And I'm not going to provide a very good archival description here either, but I can save that. And you can see that if I then view this in the universal viewer again, my updated title of that manifest has made it through. And the other thing we're going to do with IDA project is, once we're happy with the manifests in this view, the process of working our way through the microfilm reels may involve going backwards and forwards between created manifests, revisiting them as we become more familiar with the material, re-editing them. But at any point we can decide, okay, this manifest is good, this manifest is good to go, this is going to end up as an proper archival unit on the Indigenous Digital Archive site, and at that point we can hit publish, and it will send it off to the Omeka environment, and it will be ingested as a IIIF resource in that environment and become a real archival record on that site, available for annotation and commentary and all the other things that might happen to it over there.